secrets to success, ignite your passion, and empower you to envision your own greatness. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and enlightened as we embark on a journey of self-discovery. It's time to Envision Me, the talk show that dares you to dream big and make it happen. Here is your host, Pamela Stone.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? Okay, what did you think of the intro? Drop it in the feed and let me know. I'm doing some things and I'm playing with it. I want to get your feedback on how you like it and things like that. Or maybe I'll use another one or go back to the old one. Who knows? You know me. 1 minute it's one and another is another way. But I love to hear your feedback on it. Today is Win Wednesday. What is your win for today? I think it's important for us to celebrate our win. We have so much going on. We see it in the TVs. We see it in our lives. So take a moment, stop, and tell us what your win is, as you will get to hear mine as well as you'll get to hear my guests. Now, if you're new to the show, I want to first and foremost introduce myself. My name is Pamela Stone. I am the CEO of Vision Made, the place where we are out here to make your what's next possible. How do we do it? We come on here every week and we implement it here on Envision Me show. I bring on amazing guests, as the one I'm getting ready to have on, to empower you, inspire you to go after your what's next. Now, if you are new and you're like, well, I want to give a shout out or some thumbs up, we love to hear your action. If you do not have access, or if you are not a StreamYard follower, you will need to give us permission. And all you have to do is say yes, so I can see your comments instantly. If not, I will not see your comments instantly. I will see them later on, but I definitely will give a shout out to you. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let me start off with our 3 homework assignments. We always start those off. Yes, we have 3 homework assignments. Thought we start them off in the beginning, so you can go ahead and you can start taking care of those now. So the first one is it's Win Wednesday. So what is your win for this week? 2, go grab your pen, paper, girlfriends, and family members, because she's going to drop some nuggets here. And then 3, y'all know I'm always asking you, what is your favorite evening beverage and snack? Now, I do have my beverage. Y'all be proud of me. I do have my beverage, but okay, guys, you got to still give me grace. Got to give me grace. I already ate my snack. So, but anyways, tell me what your snack is. Your evening go-to snack. Drop it in the feed. I would love to hear it. And let's see. I think those are your 3 assignments. How hard is that, right? And then before I bring my guests on, one more thing. I know y'all know I love me some vision board. And as you heard at the beginning, we're all about empowering and inspiring. If you have a vision board that you would love to share, please send it to me. You can drop it in the feed under Pamela Stone, or you can email it to me at visionsmadellc@gmail.com. Just in the subject line, if you would do vision board. And I will get to it. Why? Because I want to empower you to remove the obstacles, whatever is holding you back, and go after your what's next. I've heard the obstacles, I can't. I've heard the obstacles, what if? I've even heard the obstacles of, I don't even know where to start. Well, we have to start somewhere. So I think a perfect place. I love some vision boards. So if you even have a vision board and it's not moving you to where you want to go to, that's okay. We're going to work on that. But share your vision boards. I love to see them. Okay. Without further ado, let me bring my guest on, Miss Katy Maag. Hello, Miss Katy.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Pam. I've been on before. I've always enjoyed it.
I can't wait. Can't wait for our time together. It's so fun and amazing. But before we jump in, can you give everybody a 2-minute who is Katy now?
Oh, wow. Let's see. Katy Maag is a cardiac pulmonary rehab nurse. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am a sister, daughter. Oh my gosh. We all carry so many hats. I can't even say that all. Oh, even a dog mom. That one's sassy. I'm also a certified humor professional. It's an international organization. We just had our conference a couple weeks ago in Charlotte, North Carolina. Awesome. 12 other countries were represented. Love it. I love all the international people and what they have to bring. And, humor is not just here that we need it, it's everywhere. It is worldwide. Let's see, I'm also a certified laughter yoga teacher, and that is through Dr. Madan Kataria. And that's a program that I had taken in 2019. And then I went and became a teacher in 2021. I love it. It's helped a lot. I've presented anywhere from 3-year-olds to 103-year-olds. I've not any ability. I've presented to professionals, to special need groups, to senior citizens, even school kids, third graders.
Aw, that's so cute. So cute. Well, did you tell them that you're also an author?
Oh, I did not. I am an author. I have my own book called Turn That Frown Upside Down, and I'm also a co-author to 3 other books. One is Cinderella Monologues, the first one, A Live Life and Wow, and the third one is Motherhood and Unhinged. So
Ooh, we'll have to talk about those in a little bit, but real quick, laugh yoga. I know some people have not even heard of laugh yoga, and so as I'm always doing, I'm doing some research on how the laugh yoga it does exist, y'all. As you heard her amazing credentials, but I also did some research on how the benefit of it, and the benefit of it is the laugh yoga reduces stress hormones such as cortisols and increases endorphins, which I thought that was amazing to hear that. As well as it improves immune function. The immune system can be boosted by laughter. I was like, really? Oh my goodness. So when we get into it, I'm gonna hold on. Let me go on because I was just look. I highlighted and wrote my little notes down. I was so amazed by it. Engaging with humor and laughter can stimulate various brain regions, potentially improving memory and cognitive function. Are you serious?
yes, actually, our local school district is working on getting a grant for me to come in and work with middle schoolers because of how much you think about, like if you've laughed, your body usually remembers stuff, whether it's negative or positive, but a positive they're going to remember quicker. So that's why some of the teachers would come up with some rhymes or stories when you were a kid to remember it. Remember, I before E, except for after C. That's
Yeah.
fun. So we're using some of that. We're also going to use some of the laughter yoga with kids because of the devices, so they don't get the eye contact with people. And you will notice a lot of people get drawn into their devices, and
Mhm.
they can do laughter with their devices, but it's just a split second. It's not that connection that you get with another human being.
Oh, that is so interesting. Well, let's go back to we as women, especially women over 45. Now we've crossed over the threshold, and now we're at to "Ah, what are we gonna do?" At least let me say that was my reaction. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm over 45, and I'm looking like, okay, now what am I gonna do with my life?" And my stress level was up to I don't know. It was probably around the house, down the bed, greeting everybody because I was so stressed. And
Mhm.
if I and I noticed that it talked about how laughter yoga reduces stress hormones. I needed that. I so would have needed this. And so you coming on here and talking to the guests about this is right on point. Right on point. So with that being said, let's start off with the stress relief, especially like I said, those of us that are in the corporate world and you're like, what do you talk? What do you talk about? How can you talk about that?
Well, we can talk about because stress is inevitable. We cannot control that. I'll be quite honest. About a month and a half ago, I had a lot of stress in my life. In the last 16 months, I've had a brother who had multiple surgeries, multiple readmissions into the hospital from a ruptured appendix. I had a brother who had a surgery on his abdomen, had a heart attack. He broke his foot. My husband had 3 hospitalizations. My friend Bob, who was like a dad to me, went in the hospital, was sick for 30 days, and then went to the nursing home for 14. That is a lot of stress. And
Mhm.
then I was thinking I was doing okay. And I talked to my one brother. We're very close and we talk every day. Well, I was talking to him the one morning, and all of a sudden he says, "Oh my God, they're not going to stop." I have never in my lifetime been so shocked and stressed in one point than I was then. I heard the car accident. I heard him breathing. I heard him not breathing very well. And after 4.5 minutes, he finally responded and screaming for help.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So when you're under stress, your body does certain things. Number one, you get more confused and you're not able to know what to do. So I sat there, froze, and I pulled over. I called 911. I was almost to work, which was another hour and 15 minutes the opposite direction that he was. And they, Lord God love them, they gave me the number to the county that I needed. That I called them. I told them what happened. I said, I'm not sure specific, but this is where he usually travels and about where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Said, okay. So then I had to figure out how to get to, and I used to work at that hospital, so I knew how to get there, but I didn't know how to get there. Does that make sense? Because
It does.
the cortisol level in my body was so high, I could not think. God love my friend. I called her and I said, hey, he's been in an accident, da 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 da. She knew, and she talked to me the whole way. And she's like, where are you at now? Where are you at now? Where are you at now? Keep talking to me. Or I knew, because stress does that. When you're under stress, you start having physical symptoms, whether it be some people get sweating, some people get confusion, some people, and when you're really, really stressed, you start second guessing yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And you're like, no, that's not right. Or, so even like stress, even if you're not in somebody, this is a odd fact, but even if you're not in somebody's conversation and you can hear them, your body's cortisol level raises, even though you're not in their conversation, because that's that fight and flight response that it responds for us to protect ourselves. So laughter actually lowers that response and helps bring that cortisol level down, even for just a minute.
So what led you even to get into being a laugh yoga specialist?
Well, I before I worked where I work now, we used to do an intense cardiac rehab, and they talked about how you stand-up comedy, improv. I started doing some improv. I do some improv. I do some comedy. I just kind of tell it the way it is. So my comedy is kind of, I kind of talk about life, and this is the way life is. And, but they talked about laughter yoga, and I'm like, what? I researched it because I had never heard of it. And I thought ever since I was a kid, I'd use laughter, not on purpose, but I would do it just because it made me feel good. A lot of times you had to be quiet when you laughed. Otherwise, I sat in the corner a lot and a lot in the hall. My knees are probably bad to stay from them, but
I think I would have, good thing we weren't in the class together. We would have been standing there together.
Yes, I was always in trouble.
Yeah, always.
I'm still always in trouble. I'm telling you.
Me too. But now I can use laugh yoga to help me a little bit to bring it down and maybe sway it to another way. But I'm loving that you do the laugh yoga. Now, as I was saying before, we're now starting to talk about the women over 45. And a lot of them are lacking self-confidence. With that being said, how can they use laugh yoga to change that self negativity?
Well, here's the thing. So I think women as caregivers are always given to everybody else but themselves. But here's the caveat. No matter what you're doing in life, you need to take care of yourself first. That's why they tell you in the airplane, we go down, put your oxygen mask on first. But as women, we're typically we give to everybody else, and then when it's time, we have nothing. We're exhausted. And by then it just takes your self-esteem and it just beats you down to where you can't do much or well.
You're so right. With that being said, what is something they can start implementing now with the laugh yoga so they can start making that shift?
You can use laughter, or we talk about there's different things in laughter yoga. There's four parts of it. One is brain gym. So I do a crazy 8. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with one hand, then the other hand, then your right leg, then your left leg, 7, and then go down 6, 5, 4, 3. But what that does is when you're doing that, it crosses that midline shift and it changes you from what you're thinking about. And I have to laugh because I've given that exercise to third graders all the way up to grown professional adults, and they all love that one because it just changes it. They actually begged the third graders. They had their mandatory exams that they have to do when you're in third grade. And so I went in and talked to them probably about 3 months ago. And the teacher she said they still ask for some of those practices that we did because they're very easy,
Right.
and they knew how much it benefited them. I think even 1 or 2 times you feel a difference. It's a shift.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying one of the practices that they can use then is doing okay, so say it again. So what do we do?
Okay, so we do 4 different things. Typically, we do a breathing practice, and we talk about there's 4 different parts to the laughter yoga. We do, when we first start, I have you scan your body from your head to your toe, where you at, how you feeling, whatever. And then we talk about the 4 different components. One is brain gym. So we do things that are across our midline, and that can be the games or the ho ho, ha ha ha, the clapping.
Yes.
We do some clapping. We do because it is rhythmic, and that music also helps with our brain activity.
Mm-hmm.
We do breathing practices because even if you do simple breathing practices like a balloon, hold and exhale, increases your oxygen, and that helps you think clearer. And it gives you that second to take a deep breath and shift. It helps you shift. Another thing we do with laughter yoga is positive reinforcements or positive things. We talk about what's your favorite thing, or yes, or different practices like that, because most things are negative. I noticed that a lot of like news media and stuff is negative,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So you get that in and do you know that you have 60,000 thoughts a day? Most of them are repeated, but you can have up to 60,000 thoughts a day. And if most of them are negative, what do you think you're going to be? But negative. So it's just a matter of just the shift, that laughter or the positives, just that shift, just a little shift. And then we do laughter play. So you do kind of laughing, or one of my favorite ones, and I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, we did spitballs.
Yes.
So I always like to tell people we're going to throw our laughter. So you take it back and you and it's so easy, and it's so funny because even corporate people enjoy that one. But I think it's reliving their third grade days.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I like those tips, and I think but you know what I like about them? They're easy, and I can do it, and I can just take a moment and just let me focus on something else. So, Katie, let me ask you this: as we talk about laughter yoga, what is the difference between laughter yoga and the regular yoga that we do?
And then laughter yoga, we have a grounding also when you're done, because what happens is with laughter yoga is you release some of the endorphins and release dopamine,
Yes.
oxytocin, which is the hormone you feel when you're breastfeeding a baby. So you feel that community feel when you do that, when you do laughter. The serotonin, feel good hormone. It's also they use laughter with people who are going through pain management. I've actually did a class, and there was 9 people in the class. Number 1, they didn't know what I was going to do. Number 2, 3 of them said, "Oh, I had shoulder pain before we started this. It is gone." I said, "Well, you should anticipate between 20 minutes and 2 hours worth of relief, if not longer." And they were shocked. And I said, it's simple. It's just because of the release of those hormones. And then potentially it makes you feel better by the endorphins. So.
I love it. So going back to the question, so what's the difference between laughter yoga and the regular yoga?
I have never completed a full regular yoga. So, and to be honest, I'm not very flexible. And I'm afraid if you would be doing downward dog, there would be a lot of laughter, but probably not from the laughter yoga. So, but
Oh,
I think I've done one yoga. Laughter yoga, you do what your ability is.
okay.
Some people are sore from laughing if they haven't done it for a
Yeah.
while or laughed for a while. And you think about how a lot of adults don't laugh very much because we get into that mindset. Actually, the
Mhm.
highest people with stress are from 25 to about 65.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
especially when they're in their 40s to 60s, because we're in that sandwich era. We're taking care of the older and the younger and trying to do everything but take care of ourselves.
Oh, wow, that is very interesting. I love that. So let me ask you this. As a woman is looking for some laugh yoga to incorporate into her daily life, which one would be the easiest for her to incorporate? That's the one of any one of them. Is there anyone in particular that you would suggest?
There are 40 foundational exercises and you can do any of them. I challenged myself my last birthday to go live every day on Facebook for
Yes.
1 minute. I'm 310 days in, well, 311, don't tell. There's two number 37s and nobody's caught that, but I missed one day and they caught that number. They're like, well, where's this number? I can't find that one, but they didn't catch that I had two 37s. But anyway, so, but I go by what the theme of the day is. During Christmas, I geared more towards self-care because women are notorious.
Yeah,
Christmas time, we're doing for everybody but ourselves.
that's
And
so
that's a
true.
gift. That's a gift to you that you keep giving because you burn yourself out. You ain't good to nobody then.
Mhm. You're right. I like that. I like that. So, Miss Katie, if someone wants to get in touch with you for the laughter yoga, how can they get in touch? What's the best way they can get in touch with you?
Sure. I have a website, katymag.com. I have actually there's two Facebook pages, but one doesn't have my picture on it, I don't think. And the other one has the curly red hair, and you're going to know it's me. And yeah, just, you can follow me. I have a YouTube site. I have a couple of them up on there. Life's been busy. As I said, my friend Bob passed away. He was like a dad.
I'm
I
so
was in the nursing home. And honest, I didn't think, I knew that laughter was a benefit,
hmm.
but I witnessed firsthand a
Gotcha.
the shift. Does
Yes.
that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Um,
It does.
because I went down and I said, "Can I borrow a room for about 2 minutes?" And
Yeah.
the first thing was like, I said, "I go live every day on Facebook, a 1-minute challenge." And mind you, I'd been sitting there out of 14 days. We were probably into day 12, and I'd been sitting there all but 2 days at that point.
Uh-huh.
And so I knew what the staff typically responded and did and stuff like that. So I went down, borrowed the room, did my minute of laughter. But the rest of the day was different, not just for the staff, but the
Hmm.
residents. They seemed to have a little more play. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And I'm like, they laughed a little more, with each other and was a little more playful and not as, I don't know about you, but if I get too stressed, I get a little needy.
Yeah. I know, right? You're right. You're right.
You know?
Oh, right. But so you got to really see it truly, truly working and right
Yeah.
in front of you. That is amazing. That I think that is the rewarding part of it when we get to see, not see it, but see it and feel it. That's when you
Mhm.
know, okay, I'm doing what exactly I'm supposed to be doing with no
Yep.
hesitations at all. Well, Miss Katie, as we get ready to shift up a little bit on our time is going by fast. I can't believe
Yeah.
it. But what do you do for some self-care? What do you do for yourself?
Oh, well, you know, 3 things that I used to not do. One is, set boundaries and abide by them. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
I
Um
started doing that. I started setting oh my goodness.
Oh,
Didn't even know I needed it until one day I did it and I was just like, "Oh, this is where was I what was I doing? Why
yes.
didn't I?" I so agree with you. So it's so necessary. And don't think that you don't need it because you do need it. We all need boundaries.
Oh, yeah. There's been times that somebody will say something or whatever, and I'm like, I would, years ago, I would just take that. Now I look at them and kind of assess the situation and think, number one, do I want to be here in this or do I want to keep going?
Yep.
I've decided I don't want to be around people that negative or bitching. And I'll let you have, because we all need to let a little steam
Right.
off and
I
complain.
agree. I agree.
You can have your 2 minutes of complaining. You can
And
have your 2 minutes.
after that, I'm checked
Yep.
out.
Yep. That's it.
So I'm
But
with you. Yeah. The boundaries was so necessary. What's another one that you've done?
taking care of me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
By the boundaries, by changing my mindset. Is it really that important? Is it gonna matter 5 years from now? And is it really benefiting me doing this? Or am I doing this to please somebody?
Do you
Because
feel do you feel that setting the boundaries has created that mindset? The
yes.
mindset?
Oh yeah. Oh
You.
yes. Yes, 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 yes. I think, and being able to verbalize it, because a lot of times
Mhm.
people will just go, oh, and and if I don't feel like I need to explain myself to you for putting a boundary, I'm not going to. I'm just
Mhm.
because this is a weird thing. So, I had a pastor from Chicago. I didn't know him. Number one, I didn't know him, but he contacted me and he'd been texting me back and forth and whatever. And he's like, hey, I need you to get on and do this. Act like you're a baby on your hands and knees and whatever. And I said, no. And he's
Wow.
like, no, you can't, or no, you won't. I said, he wrote, no, you know, you can. I said, so I responded back, no, I won't. There is a difference.
Wow.
I blocked him and I sent.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Who,
That's
who,
crazy.
you know,
Right.
who in the world? Who are you?
Right. Right. Carl, that's good for you. And that's good that you won. Though setting boundaries, and I have to say that setting boundaries changes, it shifts everything.
Yep.
It shifted me to the point of where I'm even looking at the dynamics of people playing, who's playing in my space,
Yep.
and to even to the point of who's not going to get to sit in my space, and I'm okay with
Yep.
that. The old Pam would be like, "Oh, let's have everybody." The new Pam is like, "I ain't got that to do," and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't. I really don't. But it's good. But we have to recognize those boundaries and understand why they're there and how to enforce them. I think that we start putting them into place, but then we start getting lenient on
Mhm.
them and don't follow all the way through. Which that's where I think we as society, or we as women, because we are creatures of feelings, that we're like, we'll get a little bit, lax. And I'm going to say this. I was a woman of, I used to be like, okay, I'll just back away a little bit. And then as soon as I back away, you start seeing, okay,
Mhm.
oh no, we need to bring that boundary back because we're not doing that. So I think it's important.
I gotta laugh. The best parenting advice I got, and I'm not kidding you, is dog obedience class.
Okay.
I know. Hear me out. Dog obedience class. Consistency. Do not waver from
Mhm.
that boundary. If you waver from that boundary, they're going to pull it every time.
Yep. From, from dog. Okay, Miss
My dog
Katy.
obedience class. I tell people that.
I love it. I love
But
it.
it's true.
Yeah. No, you're right. And you know what? But you're right. Being consistent and staying consistent is fun. But the funny part I'm laughing at, which is so funny, at dog obedience. Okay, you're right. You're
But
so
it is. It was dog
right.
obedience was my best parenting advice.
That's so true. So true. Miss Katie, with that being said, we talk, as y'all know, I'm bringing it back. Book on the shelf. I love the book on the shelf. I love to. One way I believe in expanding our mind and taking us to our what's next is by reading. Now, let me get this out because so many people like, when you don't read, okay, I may not read, but I listen to the books. Yeah, I've been stones has been thrown at me, but I listen to books and I listen to them every day. I listen to a book every day. At least I try to listen to a chapter a day. If I can't sit, sometimes I get kind of fidgety. So I'll break up that chapter throughout the day. But I do make sure I listen to a chapter a day. But I want to go back to the books that you talk about that you've written, which let me tell you, the Turn the Frown Upside Down book, girl, I didn't have to put that away somewhere because my grandkids was trying to take it home with them. And I'm like, I'm going to have to get one from Miss Katy every time, especially my granddaughter. She loves to read. And so she's
Oh,
always taking that book. So I'm going to have to get her one. But what led you to write that book?
actually, growing up, so my dad died when I was young. I helped take care of my mom, who was not mentally well. But my grandpa had open hearts. Well, he had a heart attack. He had open heart, and then he had a stroke. My grandma was a bad. I mean, she worked outside the home, so we would go after school from 3 to 5:30 and help stay with him so that he wasn't by himself for too long. And he walked with a walker, and he would go around. And on the days he didn't feel well, he'd say, "Oh, a kitten, a pup, and a pup all went around with the tails," or a kitten, pup, and a hound all went around with the tail sticking down. But on the days he felt good, and you could tell because he would have a little more spring in his step, a little more zip in his walker, and he'd say, "Oh, a kitten, a pup, and a pup all went around with the tail sticking out." So I started with that, and how mental health is so important, even as little kids. It's important. It's important to know that you have friends or people you can go to. And so the names in the book is Hannah because that means hope, and it actually spells out hope. Oscar because my grandma called my grandpa Cletus Oscar, although his middle name was Andrew. Um, Paul for the pug, because that was my uncle, and he kind of reminded me of Pug, but he was a very nice man. But he was one of those kind of, and Eleanor, who was his sister. My grandpa was like 5'10", and Eleanor was about 5 foot, and she was, oh my God, she was the typical hound. I'm telling you, she was little scrappy little thing, and those two would argue my grandma would take him to bingo every Sunday night, and those two would argue, and she was older, and she'd say, "You listen here, little boy." And here, my church that I go to, our pastor's grandma was my grandpa's sister, Eleanor.
Oh my goodness. That is so sweet. So if anybody wants to purchase the Frown Upside Down book, where can they?
They can go to my website, or they can message me. I sell them myself. I could have sold them through Amazon or Barnes and Noble, but it's just easier. I just have them and just sell them that way. They're $10. And then if you want them sent to you, then it's a little more because I have to send it through post office. And
Right.
boy, yeah, anyway.
I know you don't have to tell me. I totally get that there. I totally get it.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I got two more questions.
Okay.
So my next question to you is, what is your what's next? I mean, you're doing so much. So what's your what's next?
Well, I am executor and trustee over my friend Bob's estate, so we have to finish doing all that. And I'd like to get into comedy. Actually, I've been looking into doing I live in a small community, so I don't see me doing it late at night because I'd have to travel quite a ways to get there. I want to do more speaking engagements. I definitely am passionate about how humor can benefit so many, and how we can find humor just in little things, and just, really, is it that fun? Is it really that serious? In 5 years, is it going to matter? I bring a certain energy, I'm told. Everybody laughs. My coworkers laugh because my international nickname is Spicy Leprechaun, and it was so innocent. I was called that.
I can understand that. I truly can. I can understand that. So, yeah.
It was innocent. I come out of a room and I had a green shirt on and with the red hair, and the secretary says, "Oh my gosh, you look like a spicy leprechaun." I said, "Oh my gosh, how do you know that was my stripper name?"
Oh, that's good. That's good. I love it.
Stuck, and my patients find it amusing. They just love it.
No, you see, guys, that's why she needs to be in comedy. She's like this. all the time. All the time. She doesn't stop. So this would be great. Comedy, I can see. I can't wait to see where you're going from there. And then lastly, as we get ready to close down, our time is almost ending. I can't believe it. I'm a little bummed. We have to bring you back.
Anytime.
Absolutely. So with that being said, what would you like to leave the listeners and followers with?
Oh, words of advice. Boundaries for sure. Take care of yourself. I'm
Mm,
telling you, many years ago, I have a special needs son. He had a trach. I was taking care of him. I was working. I was taking care of a house. I was burning a lot of candles at a lot of ends. My mom was ill. I got out of bed the one day and I could barely walk.
mhm.
And of course, they did all kinds of tests and stuff like that. And I found out then that I had an autoimmune disorder and the stress was killing me. And
Mhm.
even to this day, the stress will make a lot of things so
Mhm.
much worse. But I learned that you have to take care of yourself or you can't take care of anybody.
I agree with you. So real quick, lastly, one more time, how can someone find you? Where can they get connected to you with?
Katymaag.com, my website that shows like the book I have, one of the books I have, some of the speaking engagements I've done. I've spoke to American Diabetes Association, Ohio Board of Cardiac and Pulmonary Rehab. I really do talk about life, and sometimes stress is we can't control it. We can control what we do with it, basically. I love my job. I love helping people. And I think that's why I like spreading the laughter because it's such a benefit to so many. And there's so many people lacking it.
I
I,
agree.
I work in a small community hospital and we have 3 floors and I'm on the top floor and I always jump in and I don't care who's in there and I always say, yeah, I need the penthouse.
Examine it now, please.
Yeah, I need the 3rd floor. I'm in the penthouse.
I know that's right, Miss Katie. Well, I want to thank you. This again was so amazing, as always, and I knew it would be. And I know we were going to have fun, as we always do. I'm going to put you in the green room. I'll be right back with you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Fun as always.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. So, did you get your notes? Did it help you understanding how laughter yoga can help you get through that moment of stress? Had even talked about the different types of laugh yoga that you can use, like the balloon, like even the counting, the rhythm, all that. And all this is important, especially those of us that are over 45 and we have so much going on. I don't know if you were like me, but when I crossed over, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Is life over? What am I supposed to be? Is this it? I literally said that. If that is you and you're like, okay, Pam, I'm ready to go after my what's next, but I just need some little accountability, go ahead and drop me a line at actually, excuse me, no, let me do this. Go ahead and send it to visionsmadellc@gmail.com and then put in their coach and I will come back and I will coach you. Or you can always text me at 614-674-0074 and in the text message do coach and I will be back to definitely coach, reach out to you and so we can help you move forward because I want you to live the life that you so desire and go after the dream that you want. And so if that's you, I really would love to do that. Then also lastly, I have one more ask, just one more. And my other ask is please share. Please share tonight's show. Please also go out and give comments because the more comments, it boosts us up. And we're doing good, you guys. So go out here, give a comment, give us feedback, and all of that on any of the large podcast platforms we're out there. Until next week, when I have another amazing guest that will come in here to empower, inspire you to go after your what's next, no matter what. So until then, everyone, take care and know this that laugh yoga is no laughing matter.